Today I've got some blazer inspiration for you, easy to sew, for knit fabrics. Look at this beautiful print. It actually feels like I'm wearing a cardigan, but it looks so much more elevated. I'm also sharing others, so join me today. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing, and today I have some Metra Blazers to share with you. This is a pattern that was released last year, around a year ago from Love Notions, and I have already made 2 of these versions, but I've made 2 more because you just can't get enough of this pattern. It is a Feature Friday pattern for today, Friday, so it is the day that you can get it for $5, and it's actually the first time this pattern has been featured. From what I can gather, a lot of people like this pattern, so if you've been waiting to make it, you should snatch it up today. This is a pattern that has a full size range from extra small to 5X. It's got a standard and a full bust option, so you're going to get a really good fit. And the blazer, although it looks simple when you look at it, it does have some really good features that are going to help you get a really good fit. There is a center back seam, and between the front and the back piece there is a side piece there. It's not a princess seam as such, but it does give you really good shaping. I really enjoyed sewing this one. This one's made for structured knit fabrics or stretch wovens. This will not work in a full woven because you need that stretch factor for it to fit. I used a super heavy mystery knit with vertical stripes and have black Liverpool as a contrast in the lapel. There is a fake welt pocket opening. It looks like a welt pocket, but it's not. Super fun to sew, and all the neckline is put together with a really fun burrito method, really neat inside. You can see it styled more formally with a nice dress underneath, and it'll also work with a denim skirt and just a colorful top. I think whenever you make a garment in black and white, it can really go a long way in the wardrobe. You put your hands in these pockets, the whole front piece is basically your pocket bag because it's the front piece that is doubled up. It is a short collar construction, and you can choose between a lapel that's rounded and a little smaller, a bit more traditional, and then the other one that's a little bit more edgy, which is the one I always sew, that is just bigger and it's got a corner here. They both fall beautifully like that, and the finish inside is super neat with a burrito method. I think you need fabric that's a little bit structured. You can't really use lightweight floppy fabrics or else the lapel is going to look horrendous. You do need neat fabric that stretches. You cannot make this with a woven fabric. Maybe if your fabric stretches vertically less than horizontally, you will be okay, but definitely you cannot make this with a denim or a linen. You just cannot make it with that type of fabric. I've done something extra to this blazer. It's the same blazer, I just added something on it just to give you an idea, something that you might want to do. You know, if you have the same fabric, I think it would look better. Obviously I don't have any more of the original stripy fabric left. That's way gone, and all I did was make a really long belt, a rectangle basically. I found 2 D-rings in my stash. The opening of the D-ring was 4.5 centimeters, which is a tad under 2 inches, like 1 3/4 inch. So I made sure that the finished width of the belt was going to be that, just a rectangle, a seam, turn it right sides out. No technical specific sewing there, just a rectangle basically. I finished one of the ends of the rectangle inside, and on the other side I serged it, put the D-rings through it and sewed it together. Voila, a super easy belt. Then I had a lot of fun just putting on my blazer and putting the belt on to see where it would fit on the body. I put pins everywhere, adjusted it. I didn't want the side that had the D-ring to be right in the center. I wanted it off to the side a little bit. After I was happy that the belt was actually at the smallest part of my waist and that matched the blazer, I took it off, put it on the table, just tidied it up, pinned it up properly, then tried it on again to make sure I was really happy with the placement. And I always knew I was going to sew the belt from sort of the side seams forward onto the blazer fixed. I didn't want to play with belt loops or have anything moving around. I wanted that fixed. This fabric actually killed my sewing machine last year. It's really heavyweight. There's no way I could have sewn the belt on with my sewing machine. I just did it by hand. I just got one of the extremes that was going to be on the edge of the lapel here on the center and sewed it fixed by hand invisibly, and then went all along to the side seams. That's what I wanted fixed. So I did that, and then the side that had the D-ring also, I made sure I was happy with where that was on the blazer and just sewed it there underneath, super invisibly. And this is how it turned out. I think it looks really cool. Look, I would have loved to have made this with the same fabric, to be honest, but I think black is okay, and it does tie in with the black lapel. I'm not pushing it that much. So this is the side that has the D-ring. This is the side that's on the left side of the body, and you can see that it doesn't reach the end. It's like 4 inches away from there. I am covering this pocket. It is functional. I'm just never going to use it, so I don't mind that it's covered. And then up to here, this is where it's fixed, totally fixed in place by hand under there, and on this side as well. All this is fixed onto the blazer by hand, and this is what I've sewn by hand right there. This is just going to fall open, And if I wear the blazer open like this, it looks really good. If I close it up, it also looks good. Now at the back, I have it loose. The only place I've tucked it is at the center back seam. I made sure that that was correctly placed on my body as well. So it was such an easy hack. I already had the blazer made. All I needed to do was add in the belts. I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's going to be great. And you know, down the line, if I get sick of this, I can just cut it off because it's sewn by hand. There's nothing permanent there. I just wanted to have the fun and I had it. I would have loved to do this with another version I'm going to show you that has a print, but I didn't have enough to make the belt. Not a single scrap left to make the belt. But anyway, I had my fun. I had it in my mind to do it and I did. Let's see it on. I made this Metra Blazer last year during testing, so it's not a new make, but I have added something onto it and it's a little belt. I just made it. It's a rectangle basically with 2 D-rings, and I actually stitched it on by hand in some areas around the blazer to keep it in place. I didn't want to go and put loops or anything, and I wanted something that was fixed. I'm always looking to have fun when sewing, and I just had this in my mind and I made it come true. I can use it tied or untied, however I'm feeling on the moment, but I'm glad I have both options, and I think even when the blazer is open, it looks really cool. I have a new version to share with you that I've just made just recently, yesterday actually, and this one is made in a Ponte Roma. The print is amazing. I've actually shown you this print in another colorway with a Fraser cardigan, also from Love Notions. I'll put a picture so you can see. It's got some houndstooth print in different sizes. It's such an amazing print. That's in blue, and I'd gotten one in pink. Unfortunately, it'll look red to you, but when I see it, it's a really dark pink, and the fabric is so soft. Ponte is not always the same. You know, Ponte is just the way that the fibers have been weaved, the technique, but the composition can vary. And here I have a mix of rayon, polyester and spandex, and it has a lot of rayon, I can tell, because just of the way it feels. Other Pontes that are more heavy polyester just feel really horrible on the skin and really stiff also. Not the case here, and it's actually the same fabric I used to make my Lincoln top, also from Love Notions. I got them at the same shop in Chile. I should have bought more. Oh my gosh, I should have bought more because the quality is so good, you know. So this one, I made it exactly like the one you've seen, the stripy version. A totally different fabric. It looks totally different. It feels different. Hangs different. It is structured enough to hold the shape of the lapel here. So this is my new Metra Blazer. I find it amazing. This is the type of lapel that I like. There is a smaller rounded one. I never want to make that, just to be honest. I just don't like it. I've tried to like it. I've tried to use jackets like that in the past. I just don't like it. I like corners like this. But it's awesome that you have the option, right? Because you can choose what you prefer. The technique for sewing it is all the same, and I have already shown you a full-blown detailed video on how to sew this blazer. It's actually one of the longest videos in my collection. I think it's 50 minutes long or something, and it's, you know, it's not a t-shirt I'm showing you how to sew. It's a full-on blazer. So if you are scared to make it, you'll be able to do it for sure if you follow along the video I've already made. I'll leave you the thumbnail there. But yesterday it was really nice to just listen to music, relax, let my muscle memory kick in, because once I've made a project, even if time has gone by, I remember exactly how to make it again. I don't look at instructions, I just sew, and it's so much fun for me. It just makes me remember the feeling I had before I started filming everything. Not that I don't like filming, but it is really time consuming, and it's just a whole different mindset of having to film and talk what I'm doing, everything like that. But when I'm just sewing for fun, oh my gosh, it's so nice. I have long sleeves. The only fitting adjustment I do to these for myself is add length to the sleeves. This is the original length for the body. And you can see that inside it's white. You can see a funny shape right there, that little curve. And it's because I had to piece the back. It wasn't going to fit on my fabric. But because the fabric is so busy, you'll never know. Like, you'll never know. I pressed it flat, no one's gonna know. And basically doing that piecing there meant having the blazer or not having the blazer. And what do you think I chose? I'm gonna do whatever it takes to have my blazer. Even if it takes piecing a seam and you can't tell if it's a print, go for it. If it's a solid, top stitch it, make it intentional. You can always do things like that. I just cut out the paper, added seam allowance, and just added it on until I had the same shape as the original. That was something I had to do But this type of thing doesn't give me any stress or problems in my head. I just do it because I've just been doing it for so long. So it doesn't give me any like anxiety or anything when I have to do that. So lovely. It's very neatly done. It's all burritoed in there. The finish inside is so clean. The way the construction was designed on this blazer is super clever. I really like how it looks inside. And this can be formal, informal. This can be the star. The fabric is so amazing. I can just throw it over something really simple because it's the garment that's going to shine. So let's see this one on. This is my third Metra Blazer from Love Notions. This is size extra large with a standard bust. And this Ponte print, such a colorful fabric. I love it. This fabric is so soft. It feels like I'm wearing a cardigan. So comfortable. With the print, you can't see the seams, but there's great shaping. There is a center back seam and a side piece also. So it fits amazing. There's also a round lapel, but I prefer this one. I think it looks a little bit more edgy. The rounded one is a bit more traditional. You can see how to sew all this neckline in my video. There's a burrito method inside, very neatly made. This one's just taken out of the machine. It's a statement blazer. The print is so fun. I can just have a lot of fun with it and just need simple styling to wear underneath. The fabric really is the star here. Tell you how much I love that blazer. Just the color and the print, I just see it and it just, oh, my eyes are like stars and hearts, all those things, because it's so pretty, fits so well, and the best thing, it's so comfortable. It's like wearing a cardigan, but it's a blazer. It's got all that shaping and the lapel. You don't find those things in a cardigan. So happy with that. If you have a beautiful print like that, just go ahead and make a Metra Blazer and make it a staple. Then you can just wear anything underneath. It will look amazing. I've just styled it with jeans and a cami and a black cami. So simple, and just the blazer makes me feel awesome. Last year around October, I made another Metra Blazer, and this one is super simplified. Like if you've never made it before and you want to start making it in an easier way, choose a type of knit that can be left raw, the raw edges. I find Scuba crepe or Scuba suede, that type of fabric, amazing. Even in ready to wear, you'll find garments like this where there's no hem, there's no facings, it's just cut really neatly and that's it. It's just left raw. So if you do that, then you can skip a lot of the more tricky steps of the burrito roll and the facing and the hem. So this is the one I made last year. It's a Scuba crepe. It's got amazing texture. And the wrong side of the fabric is also super beautiful, which makes the lapel just hang like that. Drape's amazing. It looks so nice. And because these fabrics don't press, I just top stitched all the seams down to help them lay flat. I didn't use a serger inside. It's all raw and top stitched. I left the lapel and all the edges in a single layer raw. There are no hems here. I top stitched all my seams to highlight them, and I transformed the one-piece sleeve into a two-piece sleeve. Took no time at all to whip up, and it's a great little blazer that is just so pretty. It's all about fabric choice. I wouldn't just leave any fabric raw like that. I know this is not going to fray, it's not going to get damaged over time, so it's another way you might think about making this blazer. There are no pockets here, but it still looks like the original, just easier.
And I've worn this and everyone asks me where I got it.
And that always leaves me in a little bit of an issue of saying I made it, because then they want you to make things. So I'm like, I made it, but I don't make clothes for other people. That is my line. Like, from the get-go, I'm quite aggressive with that. I never get people asking me once I lay it out, you know, right there in the open, that I don't make for other people. This time I made another one, but I simplified it even more. I knew a black would be a staple and would go over everything, and it would be a garment I would wear a billion times. And what would make it more of a staple is that it's sleeveless, because it's so hot here and I tend to want to layer anyway. Sometimes when it's like 25 degrees, yeah, a little layer is nice, but I still want my arms fresh. I chose another Scuba, but this is a Scuba suede. It's not a crepe. It still has that beautiful, beautiful texture. that is really hard to see. I mean, I don't know how you're going to see the details here because black is so annoying. So you have the suede looking side. The wrong side of the fabric doesn't have texture, but it's not ugly. It's got a little bit of a sheen, very, very slight. So when the lapel hangs like that, you see the wrong side of the fabric, but it still looks really nice. No hems, no facings, just really neat cutting with the rotary cutter. So nice. And the construction up here, where you have a little corner and everything, is just so much easier. You can see the seams have been top stitched on both sides so that it helps them lay flat. Otherwise, if you press this, it just doesn't look flat. It looks awful. Every single seam has been top stitched like that. The other thing I've done is around the lapel, all around and including the hem. There you can see I've done a row of top stitching at 1/4 of an inch. It's decorative. It's just so it looks like there was some intention there, just not leaving it completely raw. Same as this armhole. So up here on the top, I took a little bit of the width and I just took a little bit off right there just to make it look nicer sleeveless. At the bottom, I've left the original. It's nice and covered. And I'm just ecstatic. I have a sleeveless Metra that was raw, that took like 2 hours to make. Look, to be honest, the top stitching took the longest. It took longer to top stitch than to actually put it together because I was doing 2 rows on each seam. So, you know, it was quite repetitive. That took ages. But the actual putting it together took like 10 minutes. I'm not kidding you. There's no serging. It's all raw inside, raw everywhere, and it looks amazing. And it's just because the fabric allows it. So let's see this one on. I've paired it over my colorful linen Allegro pants I made in 2020. So let's see. This is my 4th Metra Blazer from Love Notions. It's going to be a staple layer for me. I've got it paired with my Allegro linen pants. You can tell right away that this one is sleeveless, and I've used a suede Scuba. This makes the construction so easy because I can just leave the edges raw. There's no facing, there's no hem. For the armhole, I just made it narrower slightly on the top just to modify for sleeveless, and the key is to have fabric that works with a raw edge and that looks good also. I wouldn't do this with any fabric. To help the seams lie flat, I did top stitching on either side of every single seam, so that took a little while longer than actual sewing. And this is just so nice. It feels amazing on. I can wear this over anything. You know, I can dress this up and down. I think I'm gonna wear this about 1 billion times, and I'm really happy I made it. So if you still don't have your Metra Blazer pattern, what are you waiting for? It's amazing. You can see that with one pattern, I've already made 4. They are totally different. Even though I'm sewing the same lapel, I don't care. I think they still look different because of the fabric choices. Some are easy, some are just left raw. They look amazing. Others are sewn how you're supposed to with all the steps, and they all have a place in my wardrobe. And you could make yourself a bunch of these, and you know, you could get a lot of wear out of these for sure. This was more of a sew and tell video because I have already filmed all the sewing footage that you need to sew these blazers. So this video was more about inspiration, giving you ideas, and just sharing new projects is always really nice. And I rarely do videos where I just sew and then show you the finished garment, which is really nice. Also, it gave me some me time also for self-care and just going a little bit back to my roots and how much I enjoy sewing. I also like filming, but it's a different mindset, and it's a little bit more taxing than just sewing for fun. Like, these projects were amazing and I really needed it. Look in the description box for my affiliate link and the video links to the previous videos I've made about the patterns, so you can know all about it and put it together also. I also have a blog post that I'll link below, so there's a ton of resources that I've created for you so that you can be successful and make yourself your very first blazer. And if it's not your first, then you'll be set to go. You can have a really nice style and it can be so versatile. That is all from me. Have an amazing weekend. I have some sewing this weekend to do. Sometimes I don't, but I do this weekend, so I'm excited about that. And I will see you back next week. Bye.